All right, good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's managed to get through the day okay today with all the snow and everything that's been going on out there. Boy, it sure has been fun to watch. I tell you that, at least from my armchair point of view. Um, been seeing plenty of moderate to sometimes heavy snows out there, and still kind of continuing out in through south central parts of North Dakota. Once we get into these areas in through here, let's zoom on in here. Linton and Napoleon and Fort Yates here very likely have some moderate type snow going on, some heavier snow. Some of these areas further off to the east, um, very likely, like areas like Ashley probably didn't have the snow earlier in the day, probably getting some stuff back again as we speak, as this system kind of begins to rotate to the east a little bit throughout the evening hours. Kind of going to be dealing with a little bit of lag here with my computer. So you're going to have to bear with me a little bit as we, uh, I guess, step our way through this or crutch our way through this. I don't know what kind of word I'm looking for. It's um, we're going to go through this delicately because I'm always dealing with this computer that's lagging a little bit. Um, so yeah, it looks like Linton through Napoleon right now, probably seeing some pretty good snowfall rates down and through there. Ashley finally starting to pick back up and down there. I know I've got a sister down there, and I'll show you a picture in a little bit, but they didn't really have a whole lot down there. They had a little bit of a break and actually probably got a little bit of rain in there through the afternoon hours, but it looks like that's starting to wrap back in. That southern portion of that nose is starting to wrap in through Ashley, probably going to start to affect areas like Lemoore, Edgeley, Ellendale, and then back and through, eventually get into that Litchville, Valley City area through the early evening hours. Boy, good band of snow. Looks like it's kind of developed and moved off to the northwest here over the last half hour or so, in between that Bismarck and Steele area. I would think probably Bismarck, or parts of Bismarck probably got a pretty good shot out of that once again. And then as we head further north, it looks like areas around Center and Washburn, Carrington, Rockford, all you guys have just been light to moderate snow all day long. And I know there's been plenty of areas out there that have picked up, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches of snow. Just take a look and see if Bismarck's got anything. Cathay in Wells County says 2.5 inches. These are reports right around 1 o'clock, so some of this obviously is old. New Salem around 1 had 5 inches. Bismarck had 4.5. New England had around 7. Grand Forks this evening, about 5 minutes ago. Laverne, Steele County, 5.5 inches of snow. Let's see, Red Lake Falls in Red Lake County, Minnesota, reports of 4 inches of snow. Grand Forks, heavy snow of 6 inches. That's probably pretty close. I mean, I stepped out a little bit ago and took a look at things, and I measured 6.5. And I know we definitely probably melted about a half inch worth of snow in that. So I think we probably got closer to 7 inches. Kind of watching my stats here. I'm hoping my computer is able to keep up with everything that I'm trying to do tonight. So if I'm lagging a little bit, I apologize. If anybody's out there and watching, go ahead and tell me if it's a little slow. I don't know. I know the radar trying to get through some of the frames here is having problems. So I do apologize with that. I kind of got to deal with what I have at the moment. But we're still able to see that there is plenty of snow out through central parts of North Dakota. Areas off in the northwest probably didn't get quite as much as we were thinking today. I said that earlier this morning. As we take a look at the Mayville radar, and let that sort of cycle through here and hopefully update. Grand Forks, you can see kind of in through, looks like approaching Thief River Falls, went through Crookston. Very heavy batch of snow that moved through our area. Big fat flakes that have been occurring. Our snow really didn't start happening until 1:30, 2 o'clock this afternoon. And so within that time frame, between that and 7 p.m., we picked up 6-7 inches of snow here. So it's really come down once it started, and that rain line that we were worried about is much further east. You can see how that snow really pushed its way in through the northern valley. Maybe some rain once we get to north of Greenbush, and then south of Fertile and Ada down through Fargo. I know for sure Fargo, they've been reporting rain, as well as Mahnomen. I think Fertile occasionally has been reporting rain today as well. So that cold air just hung in there with all that heavy snow that was happening. And again, that can happen. That's what happens when it snows so hard that essentially it just cools off the atmosphere, or it rains so hard that it cools off the atmosphere. And instead of rain, you get snow. And that's really what occurred here with this. We were sitting under this heavy stuff a good portion of the afternoon, and it just was not light enough to fall as rain. It was so heavy that it cooled the atmosphere off, and it fell as snow. So we've picked up quite a bit of snow here in Grand Forks. Thankfully, further south, there was enough warm air that some areas further south of Mayville, mainly south of Hillsboro, picked up a little more rain, snow mix down there. But, as we go in through the evening hours, that looks like that's going to kind of move off to the north, and I'll show you that in a little bit. The other thing we need to focus on, just because with my little web page here, I do focus on not only North Dakota and northern Minnesota, but I also take a look at South Dakota and southern parts of Minnesota as well. So we're going to take a look at that here. And some storms have developed. Actually, quite a few storms have developed. A number of them out in Iowa. And there is a tornado warning out there. It looks like a confirmed tornado as well. So looks like by Dakota City, Livermore, Pioneer, Rutland, Bode. You guys are under the gun as far as a tornado warning right now. But typically we don't, we're not going to talk about Iowa. We're just going to stay in the Dakotas and Minnesota. And actually, look at this. Right as I'm talking about this, a tornado warning out, and this is a confirmed tornado. The National Weather Service in Sioux Falls issued tornado warning for south central McCook County, northwestern Turner County, and east central Hutchinson County, all in southeastern parts of South Dakota. Until 7 p.m., a confirmed tornado was located near Clayton, or 20 miles west of Parker, moving east at 40 miles per hour. Tornado will be near Freeman around 6:45 and Marion around 6:55. So here we've got, here's the bulk of the storm, and it looks like there's our hook right now. There's where we look for the hook in these storms. So very dangerous storm right now. So if you're in the path of, right now, it looks like just north of Freeman, the way it's appearing right now, and heading to the east, let's see what 40 miles per hour, that's right, heading to the east. So boy, this is trying to figure out, so areas in Parker, Marion, as I said before, possibly up near Monroe, South Dakota. This area, this storm is heading your direction right now. So obviously take cover. This is a confirmed tornado. So if you were down in the South Dakota area, please take warning with that, just because that is moving your direction. Let's take a look at some of the 4-panel parameters here. See if we can pick this up on the radar on the relative velocity. It's a little hard to pick out on there. Probably have your inflow coming in here, and the rear flank downdraft coming in through here. So probably That's about where I would suspect anyway that a tornado would be. Let's place a marker here. Really hard to pick up on the velocity end of it. But I guess if I were to look here, there is a little bit of a lowering in the correlation coefficient. What that tells us is, what that looks at is it scans in various ways the droplets that are out there. And if all the droplets are the same or relatively the same, then the coefficient is similar. So then you're going to have these higher amounts. You're going to have these reds in there. But when it starts to loft debris and all this junk up on the air, the correlation is off. It's different. So then it lowers it. There's not as much of a correlation in there. So you're going to see these little dips in there, and that's what we're looking for. And that tells us that debris possibly is being lifted into the air. So there might be something down there. Very hard to tell. I know there's not a whole lot as far as, obviously it's a little more out in the country right now. So thankfully, we're not looking at too much in the way of impact as far as, going through a big city. But obviously there are farms down there in some smaller towns. So if you are down in that Freeman, Marion, Monroe area, we're looking at the possibility of a tornado moving your way. Zooming back out, there is a severe thunderstorm warning further north associated with that main part of the storm, and that's very likely due to the hail. Looks like we've had some hail of 2.5 inches further back, 2 3/4 inches about 20 or 10 minutes ago. A couple of reports of some pretty good hail size associated with this, and you can see with this deep purple in here, you're going to be seeing some pretty big hailstones through this as it moves off to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So Dalton and what is that, Canasota? Areas like that very likely pass through Bridgewater already. Are going to be expecting some pretty big hailstones going through there. Also up near Emory, boy, look at that. That's very intense up there. So also, I would say you're probably picking up the same 2 3/4, maybe even 3-inch size hailstones up there. That's huge. That's a big that's a big core there. Let's see if we can do some kind of a fun zoom in here. I'll have to do a window capture. Do that. There we go. And this is taking a look at the storm throughout, where we took a scan throughout that whole storm, and look at how far up some of these purples and reds go. In fact, let's break this down a little more. Pop that up. And that purple goes all the way up to 20,000 feet. Boy, even beyond that, the way it looks, beyond 20,000 feet. And the red's all the way up to 30,000. So quite a bit of hail, obviously, associated with that storm system. That's pretty interesting out there. But right now, again, we are looking at the possibility of a tornado further south. Boy, it looks like that's kind of decreased already. So I'm hoping that's on the way down. It looks like there's not looking quite as good in there anymore. It's really hard to tell on the velocity exactly where this is at. Maybe in through here, maybe in through here. Let's see here. Just checking to see if anybody's got anything for me out there. South Dakota, anybody? No updates. All right. So, okay, another scan there. And yeah, maybe. Well, let's see. Let's place that marker. Okay, let's place that there. Yeah, again, it's hard to tell. There might be something within this location here, so maybe it's wrapping around, um, like so. With the winds coming in like this, that's probably about the best bet right now as to the location of where this tornado would be at this point. So again, if you are, looks like just south of Dalton, heading towards Monroe, possibly north of Marion. Marion, you're going to be close, but it looks like maybe right now it's tracking just to the north of you. Keep an eye out on that. But there has been a confirmed tornado. And again, this is for south central McCook, northwestern Turner, and east central Hutchinson County, valid until 7 p.m. We'll be around Freeman at 6:45, so right around now, and Marion around 6:55. So a dangerous situation out there for those of you down in South Dakota. Big storm moving through you right now, and yeah, you can kind of see that hook right in through there, right there. It's getting a little bit better defined. There's the rear flank. Here's that inflow. So it's looking like maybe this is probably a little bit closer to where that mark is. Here you're getting maybe a little bit of a ball showing up with that. That's possible. We like to call that the debris ball. But the correlation coefficient down here has kind of gone away, however, so that's a good thing. Maybe either it's lifted or hopefully it's at the very least not hitting any structures at this time. But again, the tornado warning down in through southeastern parts of South Dakota at this time.